The November Makers Box is filled with a timeless collection of old world Santas. From nostalgic papers to rich holiday hues, get ready to create, imagine, and celebrate the season vintage style. For Project 1, I have had this sleigh in my garage for quite some time, you guys. I just was not inspired by it. Initially, when I found it out thrifting, I'm sure I had some type of inspiration, but then it ended up in my garage completely forgotten. So I pulled it out, and for starters, what we're going to do is put a piece of decoupage paper on both sides of this sleigh. And we're going to use North Pole plaids. That is a Reimagine exclusive decoupage paper that she designs just for the Maker's Box. And I love this because you get two plaids in one. So I paint the back side white because I really want that paper to pop. And then I take my fingernail and I just trace around the edge and I cut it out. And then, as you guys know and have seen, I always start on one side. I have a starter strip. I get that down and it holds my paper in place, and then I work my way down, and that really helps alleviate a lot of wrinkles and just really gets that paper exactly where I want it. For the next step, I decided to add an IOD mold to each side of the sleigh, along with adding a bit to the top. I am using Winter Forage, and this is a 2025 holiday release, so it's limited edition. I do still have a few left on my website. I'm also using the IOD air dry clay, and I actually cast 3 separate molds. And like I said, I'm going to put one on each side and then one on top. And it is so easy to use these molds, especially with that micro rim edge. You just take your thumb and you just rub it along that edge, and it has a perfectly flat top. Now, once I get it on here, I'm going to situate it exactly where I want it. I'm using Titebond, which is my go-to glue for basically all crafting, but I love it because it holds on the molds just perfect. And I always start in the center and then I feather the glue to the edge. You don't want a lot oozing out. I'm going to apply it. I'm going to let those dry and then come back and we're going to add a bit of color. The 2 colors that I grabbed to paint this was Highlander, which was from a past Maker's Box, and then I grabbed Park Bench, and I just thought those 2 colors were the perfect pairing to paint this beautiful mold. And don't be alarmed that you think you have to be absolutely perfect when painting. I actually got a little bit on the paper as well, but that's okay because we're going to add some dark wax and it's going to hide all the imperfections. I'm grabbing DIY's dark wax, and you guys, I love this dark wax. And even though I used Fusion mineral paint, the dark wax works perfectly over it. I apply a nice even coat, take a piece of paper towel, wipe away the excess, and I love the transformation of this sleigh. For project 2, again, I was out in the garage cleaning it up and I found this in my stash. And again, another item that I thrifted and I just needed some inspiration. For starters, guys, I did paint the base white because I want this paper to really pop. And this is North Pole plaids, and I use the other half on that sleigh. Now this half, I'm using it on the bottom of this tray. And this is a really substantial tray, and I thought it would be perfect to house some beautiful glassware or just something for the holidays. So what I did is I cut it down to size, and then I'm going to use liquid patina and we're going to apply it. And I talk about this all the time, but I position my paper exactly where I want it, and I am going to take the liquid patina and I'm going to create that starter strip, and then I'm going to mist my paper to activate the fibers in the paper. And then I am going to lay the paper down into the liquid patina, smooth out the wrinkles, and then work my way down. And this gives you so much better control over your paper, eliminates wrinkles, and I did have a few, but it really helps eliminate a lot of those wrinkles. Now that that's drying, I am grabbing basil, which is a Sweet Pickens milk paint. And you guys, this is such a beautiful holiday green. I fell in love with it. This was the first time I was using it, and it is so rich and gorgeous. So if you haven't used milk paint yet, you use 50% water, 50% powdered, or the powdered form of the milk paint. And then I take a whisk and I whisk it up really well. And then I let it sit for roughly 10 to 15 minutes and it thickens up. Now, your powdered form will not go bad. It has no shelf life. But once you mix it up like this, you do have to use it within 24 hours. And I really say use it quicker, faster, sooner. Is what I recommend. So I apply one even coat over the entire piece. I never went back and added a second coat. It had such beautiful coverage, and then I just let it work its magic. I didn't heat it up. I just wanted to see how it was going to react with the tray itself. If you're not familiar with milk paint, it's a little bit unpredictable, so you never know if you're going to get some crackle, chippiness. If you don't want any of that, you can use a product called Extra Bond, and it will leave you with the most beautiful finish and no cracking and no chipping. After your piece is dry, I do recommend you go in and sand it. It will make your finish just buttery smooth, and if you do have any chippiness, it gets all that chippiness off. You definitely want to remove that before you seal it. So once you get done doing this and you love how it turned out like I did, you go in with a top coat, and I am going in with Fusion's mineral paint, their top coat, and this is in matte, and I'm just applying one even coat over the entire piece. Lastly, I'm going in with a transfer, you guys. I just felt like it needed a little something something. Initially, I didn't think the transfer was going to fit, so I started cutting it up. I probably should have laid the transfer down first before I started cutting things up. So I laid down one half, then I went back and laid down the other, and I matched the two. And I just think this is going to be a perfect addition to this piece right in the center, just something to really highlight that beautiful tray. I should also mention this is from Winter Botanist, which is the IOD holiday release, and I do have a few left on my website. And again, this is a limited edition, but I use this on several projects in this video. My last step is I go in with Fusion Mineral Paints Top Coat Matte, and I just want to seal that transfer in and just really give this a little bit more protection, especially if I am going to have glassware or things set upon this. For project 3, I was in my garage and I found this as well. Actually, a lot of the items I'm using in today's video, I found in the garage as I was cleaning it out. This reminded me of like an ornament, you guys, and I knew right away I wanted to use it for this video. I love this paper from Royce. It is called Santa's Greetings, and I just think it's such a beautiful masterboard that she created for the holidays. So what I did is I chose what area of the paper that I wanted on the front, and I love the look and feel of the entire piece. I did not do a darn thing to it. All we're going to do is we are going to figure out what chunk of this masterboard I want to use. We're going to apply it, and one thing I did not show on here is I went back onto the masterboard and I just kind of ripped randomly little pieces off. So that number 25, I grabbed that. I grabbed a wreath with a 25. I grabbed a postage stamp, and then I applied it over the actual piece. I just kind of laid them randomly, and again, just applied them over, and they blended right in, and it looked like it was all part of the paper. But I absolutely love how this turned out. For project 4, I found this in the garage as well, you guys, and I think this one might be my favorite project in this entire video. I love Connie's paper that she created, and then I love that I was able to use that IOD mold, and I did some blending. It just turned out so beautiful. So for starters, what I did is I actually used Fusion's decoupage gel. I like using the gel with rice paper. So Connie uses rice paper and Royce uses a tissue type decoupage paper. And the rice paper is a little bit thicker, and I just find that the gel just grabs onto it a little bit better and holds it in place. So I do the same thing. I lay down the gel, the decoupage gel, I mist that rice paper and I position it, and then I work my way up. Next, what I'm doing is grabbing Fancy Farm Girl, which is the DIY paint color that was in the maker's box, along with White Swan. And I am going to blend these and make that background where the paper is not. I'm going to make it look like a background of trees. And I learned this technique from Connie, and it doesn't blend perfectly, but that's okay, guys, because I am going to apply some of the molds over it, and I think it's going to look absolutely gorgeous. So I take a bit of that white, a bit of the green, I mist it, and it gives me it makes it easier to blend and mix those colors, and I just dab it on. I wanted to show you here, I also added some tree branches in there like Connie had created. That way, if it doesn't fully cover, you can just see the tree branches as well. I took Fusion's top coat in matte and I sealed all of that before we applied any of the molds. And then next I grabbed that mold again, and definitely use cornstarch in your molds. It helps release so much easier, you guys. I use the IOD air dry clay, love that, and it just comes out so easy. And the air dry clay, honestly, I've used others and it is amazing. So I cast several of these molds and then I start applying them to the actual container. And I just randomly did it. I laid one down and I just kind of wanted it over the top and then drooping down. And then I broke a couple of the molds apart and kind of fit in where I needed pieces. And I had so much fun doing this. And initially I thought, should I paint them green? No, I wanted them white because it was a snowy day, and yes, there's some green and blue in the background, but I just think that the white is so beautiful on here. project 5. This shovel was sitting in a box in the garage, and I saw it and I thought, would it not be fun to have a Santa face on the actual shovel part? And that's exactly what I did. I'm kind of obsessed with the Santa mugs and really all things Santa this season. So I am using this paper from Connie at the Painted Photographer, and I'm cutting out a chunk. I love the 3-ups that she creates for me because you can use them on 3 different projects. And I love how 2 are the smaller size, 1 is the larger, and actually I use just a little chunk of the other one because I didn't want to do the blending and I just wanted to use a little bit of that paper. So you're going to see that. Now the handle, yellow, no. So I grabbed Fancy Farm Girl. I applied 1 even coat of that to the handle, and really that green paired perfectly with that paper. I applied, like I said, 1 even coat, and then I went ahead and applied a coat of White Swan to the top of the shovel so that I really made that paper pop. And we're using Fusion's decoupage gel to apply the paper, but as you're gonna see, it was so easy to apply this to the shovel, and this was such an easy transformation, and I love it. I'm keeping it for myself. It's going to be part of my Santa collection. For project 6, this was also out in my garage, and I have had it for a bit. It actually was in my studio, then it went out into my garage. I have been deciding or trying to decide what to do with it. And one thing that I'm on a mission to is to try to upcycle as much of the furniture that I have in my garage. This coming spring, I do want to take an area of the garage and really make it my workshop area. And this has been something I've been wanting to do for a while. So all winter long, for at least every video, I'm going to try to grab at least one piece of furniture to upcycle. And so this is small, but that's okay. So we're starting off, and I want it to paint the entire base white swan. And it's from DIY, and it's part of the maker's box. And my vision here was I wanted to use white swan as the base. I was going to paint it with basil, the Sweet Pickins milk paint, and I wanted to have it crackle and chip and have that white come through. And it didn't do exactly what I wanted it to do. Like I had talked about earlier, and I talk about milk paint being so unpredictable. You never know exactly what is going to happen, and unfortunately, it did not do what I thought. But that's okay. I still love how it turned out, and you can see the white here and there. I wanted the white to actually like pop through crackles, and I probably should have maybe like zapped it with heat. I wasn't thinking, I guess, is a good way to put it when I was doing this. So because it didn't crackle and everything, I thought I'm going to bring it out, and I am going to use my hand sander, and we're going to sand it down a bit. And it kind of brought back some of that wood, some of the white, and in the end, I still loved it, you guys. My final step is I'm using Winter Botanist, and I am going to create a layered effect with all the different transfers on each of the shelves. And I love layering transfers. Keep in mind, you can cut your transfers apart. You can layer them. You can do whatever you want. And that is the fun of transfers. So go and have fun with them and layer them and add and mix and match your transfers. It's so fun doing that. So I am going to pull the transfers together, and it took me a bit, you guys. I'll be totally honest. I was digging through that Winter Botanist, and it is cut up, but I had so much fun, and I love how this turned out. The last thing I did, I sealed it with a top coat from Fusion in matte, and I applied just one even coat over the entire piece, and this is complete. And I love how this turned out. I think it's so gorgeous, and I love that basil from Sweet Pickins. I hope you've enjoyed today's video and are completely inspired by the Maker's Box. If you do want to subscribe, I will have the details listed in the description. I also have a playlist that will be coming out on Monday the 17th. I have a creative team and each and every one of them creates a video for that as well. So that will also be in the description. If you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel. I put out a ton of content, and any of the items that I've used in today's video, you can also find on my website. Well, we'll see you guys in the next video, and like I said, I hope you've enjoyed.